Okay, the Crazies. I never saw the original George Romero one, so this is going to primarily be about the remake, and I'm not going to be able to compare and contrast this to the old one. Essentially, there is a viral outbreak in your standard, mid-America town. What they do right with this is it starts out, they go through the basic, here's your idealistic Midwestern town. Then all of a sudden, during a baseball game, guy comes walking out on the field with a shotgun. And you can tell there's something wrong with him. Sheriff's out confronts him, put the gun down. Guy pulls the gun up, so he shoots him dead. Trying to figure out what happened to him. Was he used to be the town drunk? Was he intoxicated? They find a couple other people who have this weird kind of just super glazed over look, and they have blood coming out of their nose. These people tend to be overtly violent, but they're not like zombie violent. There's still a certain level of thinking. A few of them actually still know how to use stuff like firearms and basic weaponry. So a lot of time is spent trying to figure out, one, what is going on. And when they find out the source of the viral infection, it's like, what's in the water supply? We'll trace the water supply down, try to figure out, if this is what really is the cause of it. So they go to one of the city's main water supplies. And they realize a plane has crashed in it. And when they show the top-down view, it is a large plane. Now then what happens? Like most of the movies where also there's a bizarre outbreak, you get, the military quarantine where they separate, you go to this side, you go to this side. And of course, with your two primary characters, one being the town sheriff, the other one being his wife, the town doctor, they get split up. Because what they're doing is they're checking, elevated body temperatures. That's it. If you have a high fever through, the ear scan, you go one way. Other people go another way. People who have the high temperature are essentially shackled to beds as they begin to undergo the transformation. And they all kind of laugh. And then all of a sudden, the town militia begins to break into the military area, which compromises it and releases all of the crazies. The military, therefore, kind of pulls out their operation because what kind of happens, when you're trying to separate a populace, most of which are becoming, I'll say remorseless killing machines, and the other portion not, once those two begin to, intermix, the crazies can infect other people. So therefore you can have a big problem on your hand really fast. The military begins to leave. Initially they were busing some people away to a different location. You find out later what that location is. The sheriff goes back for his wife. Makes total sense. He has a nice conversation with another guy, where this guy's like, yeah, they took my wife to go over there. Can you go back and get her? No. Okay, how about this? You don't ask me why I'm back to get my wife, or why I can't leave without my wife. I want to ask you why you can so easily leave without yours. So you have the sheriff and his deputy trying to essentially fight their way back through a military blockade to get to his wife, as well as avoid all of the crazy, demented townspeople who are infected and who are kind of like killing machines. There's actually one sequence where they find a truck that's not got the boot on it. They realize some of the townspeople who are crazy but still a higher level working are actually hunting and killing other crazies. Technically they're hunting and killing anything they can find. So they've gone from, your basic hunter mentality to hunter mentality with no moral compass. So this is done very well because they keep the amount of people you're supposed to care about to a minimal. It's like 3-4 people. The primary focus being on the sheriff and his deputy, and then they go back in front and get his wife again. So your sheriff, deputy, wife, it works fairly well. So, like most of these movies, you will have loss in the small group of characters, but you actually kind of care about it. It's actually done relatively well in the way of a horror movie. And of course, I'm not going to spoil some of the ending parts for it, because if you've seen any movie where the military loses control of an infected situation, you tend to know what they're going to do. This one, ironically, decent in the way of suspense, decent in the way of special effects. There's not a ton of gore. They kind of do more of the... We'll keep scenes kind of dark, because it happens primarily at night. So you get to see, broken up bodies, but they're not, super close-ups. But there is a suitable level of gore in this movie, decent suspense, and the acting, for the most part, is fairly believable. And the ending works. Yeah, it's cliche for these sorts of movies, but it does work. And that is The Crazies.